Hey, so you are considering buying a house, but let me ask you something that is super important. Can you spot a leaky roof, a poorly running AC unit in the dead of winter, or a bathroom renovation that was maybe only kind of done correctly? Well, fortunately, unfortunately for you, most people cannot do those things. And that is why it is so vital to have a home inspection done. Those elements in a home can actually cost you thousands if they are not caught before buying the home. So stick with me through this quick episode to learn the things that you should look for in a home inspector and how to pick the right one. So stay tuned. All right, so let's start with things that you need to look for in a home inspector. The biggest thing that I can tell you to look for in a home inspector is that it's kind of like picking your real estate agent or a car salesman. You need to pick somebody that you can talk to and that you feel like you mesh well with. I'm convinced that in life there are so many people that do one particular profession that you should never have to work with somebody that you don't enjoy working with. And maybe that sounds silly to you, but truly, if you enjoy the people that you are working with, then it will go so much quicker. So if you have the time and the opportunity, then you should call and talk to a few home inspectors, and you should ask them about their education. And you should remember that home inspectors are not required to be licensed in 14 states. So Georgia is one of those, South Carolina is not. I work in both, and I can tell you that most of them in our area are licensed, but that's something that you should confirm before you decide to work with someone. All right, moving along. So what are some questions that you should ask your home inspector? What are some things that you should know before hiring them? Beyond the education, this is kind of a two-part question. So what should you know before hiring them, and what do you need to ask your home inspector during the home inspection process? So the first thing that you need to, we're gonna start with the things that you need to ask them before hiring. And the first thing that you need to ask is, do they offer a discount for first-time home buyers? Some of them also may offer a military discount, but you should ask if they offer a discount for first-time home buyers. The second thing that you need to ask for is if you can see a copy of their sample inspection. So every home inspector does them differently, but if you see sample A and you see sample B, and A is a whole lot more appealing and easy to understand for you, then that might be something that you put on your pros and cons list when you're picking a home inspector. If you like their style more, then that might be the deciding factor, honestly. The next thing that you need to ask is, have they worked with VA buyers? So the VA loans have specific requirements as far as the maintenance and the upkeep of the home. There are homes that you will not get approved for with a VA loan. And with that said, you definitely need to make sure that you are working with a home inspector, if you are using a VA loan, that has worked with VA buyers before, because they're gonna know exactly what the home inspector is gonna, or what the VA inspector is gonna come in and look at. The next thing that you need to ask for is, are you able to be present at the inspection? And what is their recommendation or procedure for you being present at the inspection? So I tell my clients that you should show up for the last 30 minutes of the inspection, and the reason for that is that otherwise you're kind of just sitting there, and more than anything, you're probably gonna slow your home inspector down if you follow and ask questions. So it's really better just to be there towards the end, and they will go over all of the defects with you. You can walk around the house and they will show you the things, or you can look at their report that they're doing as they go, because most of our home inspectors nowadays have a digital service where they come through with an iPad and they do it. So your report is generated pretty much instantly, which is nice because you don't have to wait that 24 or 48 hours like you did a few years ago for them to get all the photos together and put it on a report and email it to you. So super nice that they can do that now. Then the next thing is, are there any items that are not inspected? So in Georgia, in this area, they don't inspect fences for the most part, and there's a multitude of reasons for that, but ask your home inspector if there's anything that they do not check. If you're buying a house with land, a lot of them don't do any kind of septic tank inspection either, so that would be something that would be separate that you would need to talk to your real estate agent about. And then the last thing is, how much is a reinspection, if they charge at all? Most companies do charge you for a reinspection, and the reinspection is after the repairs are done in the home, whatever they say is defect, and you get the seller to agree to repair. It's recommended that the home inspector come back out and make sure that the repairs were done up to par. And usually there is a fee associated with that. It's not typically as much as a regular home inspection, but it could be up to 100, 150, maybe even more in your area. So that's something to ask them before you hire them. Okay, moving along. So things to ask during or after the home inspection. So once you've hired somebody and you're at the home, or you're, showing up for your portion of the home inspection, what are some questions that you should ask them? So the first one, and this is a big one to me, you need to ask them where the major mechanical systems in your house are. Where is your water heater? Where is your HVAC unit? Where is the gas shutoff valve? And where's your breaker box? These are all things that are safety related, and I definitely think that you need to know these things before you move into a house. The next thing is, what's the imperativeness of these repairs? Is this something that you have to have done right now, or is this something that is coming? Some home inspectors have like a red, green, and yellow light system that kind of tells you how serious they are, and some home inspectors just cut and dry, this is what you need to do. So then the next couple things are, was the remodel done well? If there was some area of the house that was remodeled, the kitchen, the bathroom, those are the most common places that people remodel. So let's say that they put new floors or new countertops in. You want to ask if those things are fitted correctly, if it looks like they were done professionally, or if it looks like maybe the homeowner did it. These things are, it just lets you know in the future if there could be potential issues, or if they see any kind of flaws in those things, then it may even just be cosmetic. And then the next thing is, ask your home inspector to explain the repairs to you. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, or not explain repairs, more explain deficiencies. So your home inspector can give you suggestions on what they recommend to do to remedy a situation, and most of the time that's included in the report. But talk to your home inspector as they are walking through the house with you. If you're a first-time home buyer, it's not dumb to ask all these questions. In fact, it's so intelligent to ask all these questions. It's not your fault that you don't know these things because you are a first-time home buyer. Or even if you're not a first-time home buyer, this is not your profession. It is theirs. And so you should absolutely ask them as many questions as possible about the repairs that they're recommending you have done. And to take it a step further, ask them what happens if you don't get these repairs done. That might be a longer conversation, but it's important to know what you're getting into when it comes to deficiencies in the home. And that can also help that can also help you when it comes time to prioritize your list of repairs. So what's common for our area? What is the most common thing that they see on home inspections? So in our area, we have termites. And so most of the time, actually every time, I require that my buyers get a home inspection or get a termite inspection. There's never anything, 100% you are getting a termite inspection because we do have termites in our area. They're very common here, but in other areas of the country, they don't have them at all. So that's something to ask about. What are common things that you see in our area? And, understand those things when you're buying a house, because just because something doesn't have that, a defect that is common in our area, when you go through your home and you are buying, it doesn't mean that it won't in the future. So something to, use the knowledge that your home inspector has and has gained, and make sure that you know what's common for our area and what you need to look out for. And then the last thing that you can ask is, should you have any of these repairs done after you move into the home? So most of the time you should have all the repairs done before you move in, but there are some situations where if you have a closing date that's coming up quickly because maybe you're a cash buyer or something to that effect, then maybe it's something that you have scheduled out with the seller. The seller goes ahead and schedules and pays for it, and that you have done later on. And that is okay to do too, but it's something to talk to your home inspector about. If you think that that's a possibility, ask them if they think that's a good idea. Talk to your agent about that, and talk, go over it with them too. Stick with me and find out why you should buy a house next year. And I know that that's bias coming from me. However, I'm going to tell you why the craziest time to buy a house is usually the best time to buy a house. So you will learn all about that. Stick with me and find out on Military Moves with Sierra. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope that you guys are learning a lot from this, and I hope that this process is something that you find very beneficial, and I hope that you will consider subscribing and sharing this content with your friends and family. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.